Right, so we're going to start with you guys. I mean, incredible amount of Gardasil victims here today. So, first of all, tell us who you are.
I'm Patrice Mosick, and this is my daughter, Kira Hughes.
And how old are you?
I'm 15.
You're 15 years old. Okay, so let's hear the story.
3 years ago, she was due to go in for her scheduled school vaccines. We got the notice, if you don't have your vaccines, you can't come to school.
And describe what your thoughts on vaccines were at that time.
I used to be a registered nurse. But I also knew that there was a chance that things could go wrong. We knew somebody who had autism, and the father had researched, and he was very adamant that the vaccine had something to do with it, and I believed him, but there was never anything. I never had to give any vaccines. I was never in that sort of position to do that, but knowing now, I wish I'd never vaccinated my first child. Wish that she'd never been vaccinated with anything, you know.
I think we're all with you on that one.
Yeah.
So, you were how old when you had the first Gardasil vaccine?
I was 12.
You were 12 years old, and this was, you were saying, you were going in for your school checkup booster type things.
Yep, the school vaccines, and we went into the local clinic, which was just right down the street from our house, and we thought, okay, we'll go ahead, get these done, have it on record, and she can get to school. And the doctor had come in after we had refused the Gardasil shot. Was it to the nurse? I can't remember if she was in there. But he decided, you know, we said no to Gardasil, that she was getting the other two, and we didn't know much about Gardasil, and we were holding off. And we had already held off of Gardasil from her visit to her gynecologist. She had had a history of an ovarian cyst a few months before that. So we told her no, she was fine with that. This doctor sat down and badgered us for 45 minutes.
So what kind of things are we talking about? Tell us what was said to you.
Well, to be honest, it was nothing really extremely informative.
Yeah.
It was kind of just a rant about you need to get it, you know, type of thing. Nothing really scientific about it. Or
Did you say why you need to get it?
Just something really to do with, you know, just HPV strains. That's about it. Told me there would be no side effects except for a bit of dizziness and, you know,
very sore arm.
Fainting and very sore arm, you know, your normal symptoms of getting a vaccination.
But assured you there'd be no other side effects?
Yep.
Well, that's a big fat lie for a start.
Oh, it sure was, yes. Yeah. And she, like I said, he badgered us, and finally I gave in. I had a history of cancer. She had a history of the ovarian cysts, so he was really pushing that on us.
Because of it.
Yeah, because of that.
Because of our history.
And, you know, even though I finally gave in and said yes, I still wasn't comfortable. She was saying no. He left the room.
You were
She's
saying
like,
no.
Well,
Why were you saying
no.
Because I didn't want a third shot. I was so upset with getting two, because I hadn't had a history of, like, getting shots or having blood drawn, like, very recently, so I was scared of it.
So what shots did you have?
Was it the meningococcal
Tdap.
and Tdap?
So you'd had those two, and you just didn't want another one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
she
was basically it.
Obviously, it's more than two vaccines, but 2 shots. Okay, got it.
Yeah.
All right, so you were saying no, and you were thinking no.
I was
said
thinking
yes.
no, but I just so fed up with him that I just said yes, okay. We'll
Thinking it would be fine,
Yeah.
since there was, quote-unquote, no side effects.
And he said she was going to have a sore arm for a couple days, and she got the shot. They left the room, and she doesn't like to show her emotions in front of people, and she did start crying, and it was very, very, very painful. And
For about
she felt
2
dizzy.
hours, I had extreme pain going up my arm, and, you know, at first, you know, parents didn't really believe me because they were thinking, you know, maybe I was just being sensitive and being a baby, but I couldn't move my arm
It was mottled.
at all.
It ended up being very mottled. I had then we put ice on it to see if that would help with the pain. And so that was her first signs, but I just took it as, okay, the doctors say what, you know, they know what they're doing and know what they're talking about. And we thought that was just a normal reaction, and that's the way it was supposed to be. And I can't say that everything happened all at once. It was almost kind of a progressive, gradual, a new symptom here, new symptoms there. She had, from head to toe, she had some kind of symptoms.
It really started hitting around, what was it, maybe the second or third month after everything had happened.
The second, yeah.
Second month after I had gotten the shot, and I started having severe leg pain. I couldn't move. I couldn't get up out of bed. And I was missing school constantly. Eventually, I got to the emergency room, tested me for so many different things, and we're so adamant on that it wasn't the vaccination.
Right, that's what I was going to ask you. So you mentioned the vaccines, and then you just said what?
Well, initially we went, I hadn't made that connection quite yet. We went to the emergency room for the leg pain, and they said that she was having growing pains. I said, they'll make you scream and cry. I've never heard of that. And they said, oh yeah. And then I finally started making the connection. They had referred you to because we didn't have a pediatrician in that area, so we had gotten with a pediatrician, and I went to him and started with my concerns that it was Gardasil. He didn't want to. He didn't want to delve into that, I guess. So he eventually just diagnosed her with conversion disorder. Labs and stuff were coming back within normal limits.
Conversion disorder is.
Remind people what that is.
Mm.
You want to tell them?
Oh, it's in your head.
It's all in your head. Your mind
basically
is
your
making up
mind
the
is under stress. Though I was not
Hysterical
stressful
girls,
person.
We've been told. Hysterical.
Yeah, that creates so much stress in their mind that their mind turns it into physical symptoms. But I was not a person that stressed about things. I really wasn't. I don't want to brag or anything like that, but I wasn't a person that would easily stress about things.
As far as her studies and stuff too, she was very smart and things came to her easily, so she wasn't stressed about that. She loved school, and her friends and stuff. There was no issues of bullying that was anything out of the ordinary, and then that's what they were saying.
It's disgraceful.
Yeah.
That they're not listening to the patient or doing what they're supposed to do as doctors.
Exactly.
They take an oath to listen to people like you or anyone that's injured. So if they are not doing their job, it's disgraceful.
We ended up having her admitted into the hospital down at WVU for a week to try to get some answers. And she saw every little specialist come in, and every person that came into that room, I said, this has something to do with this Gardasil vaccine. This has something. I told from the highest specialist down to housekeeping, anybody who came in that room, because I wanted to make sure that it was on record, because nobody was listening to me.
Well, one of my favorite answers for that was she had told one of the doctors that had came in, she thought it was a vaccine. And so she went and told, the group of doctors that she was with, and they dismissed it off and said, well, since there's no record of there being a reaction in our books, you can't have it.
That's right, I forgot
It can't be the vaccine.
Yeah. It can't be. And even if it was the vaccine, what do you want us to do about it? That's
so...
Yeah.
What do you think?
Stupid.
Then
It is. It's stupid. It's stupidity.
Yeah.
Amazes people got any kind of medical degree whatsoever.
And I complained. I ended up having somebody within the hospital, I couldn't even tell you what position it is, but they had come up and I expressed my concerns that I wasn't being listened to, and then they came back in and they said enough just to try to appease us, that they were saying, oh, well, we did our research and we couldn't find anything.
And then basically made me an outpatient and kind of sent me off like, well, we don't know what's wrong with you, so bye.
And in the meantime, these girls, are all suffering these different symptoms, and they've got these metals in their body that they're not able to get rid of, and they're having MRIs being injected with more and more metals that, by the time she had her heavy metal toxicity done, was so high in her, I think it's called galadium. I think it's what they use for, yeah. Yeah, galadium. And so then she also had mercury, aluminum, yes, other things
This
too.
aluminum or aluminium, as we call it, is a massive problem.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right, tell us, what are the symptoms? Because of this vaccine, this Gardasil, what has been taken away from your life? What are you suffering with today, aged 13?
Well, it's been so much stuff, to be honest. It's too many things to name, and sometimes I'll just have symptoms that come out of the blue and don't return. Like, I'll have, some sort of chest pain that comes, stays for about 2 hours, and then leaves, and it never happens again. But mostly every day I have trouble with my legs, my back. I feel severe pain. I call it like deep muscle pain. I get headaches. I suffer for the POTS syndrome.
We just learned about that from Taylor.
And that's probably the worst, because it just inhibits me from doing any sort of physical activity. I mean,
even walk, going for a walk, depending on, how she's doing, you don't know if she can tolerate it.
Mm-hmm. And, I might be doing fine while I'm going for the walk, but once I get back home and let myself settle, it completely flares up, and I feel like I just ran a marathon, and it's terrible.
Yeah. So throughout the whole experience, I'm going to start from head to toe. She's had a lot of hair
Alrighty.
loss. We're lucky because she has a thick head of hair, but she's had a lot of hair loss. Headaches, migraines, a lot of pain like in her temple and in her jaw. Some visual disturbances. It was almost like, do you remember when you were looking, it looked like you were looking at staticky TV.
Mm-hmm.
Asking if you were athletic before.
Not really. I
She
wasn't
was
really
not
an
one of those.
athletic person at all.
Lean. Oh, she's always been very thin.
Mm-hmm.
She does have the hypermobility syndrome.
Mm-hmm.
So they say that for some reason this is affecting the girls who have that extra flexibility. Chest pain, shortness of breath, abdominal issues, back. Every day.
Do you live on painkillers?
They won't put her on pink, and we don't want
They
her
won't
on
put me on anything, and I don't want to be on anything, type of thing.
It's
How do you
scary.
manage your pain?
Occasionally Advil for only certain things, like headaches, that type of stuff.
They're recommending CBD.
What was that?
PPD.
CBD.
It's a derivative from marijuana, but it's
CBD.
It's legal. It does not get you
okay.
intoxicated.
I've been
Alright.
trying to talk to her about those options. Yeah.
Well,
You didn't bring it
yeah.
up that way, but okay.
That's just a recommendation here. So those are pretty severe symptoms.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's every day. I mean, there's times she cannot get out of bed. And just like today, she's telling them she's working on her endorphins, so she's on that endorphin high. I know they're starting to
it's
shut
wearing
down,
off, it's
so
wearing
she's
off.
she's hurting.
And where are your friends? Your friends that used to be your friends? Do you still have them?
Well, I mean, a bunch of circumstances have happened, but there's 2 friends that I still kept in contact with from my old school, and then I haven't been able to attend new school at all, so I don't have any contacts where I'm living at now. But we found another girl, like 2 days ago, that is going through the same thing, that lives about 10 minutes away from my house. So
And you met Taylor, the girl who I interviewed before?
Uh,
Just met her?
only just
Yeah, just now. So
just now,
you guys are
yeah.
going to get together. And New is
I would hope
setting up
so.
the Gardasil Girls
Mm-hmm.
blog on Vaxxed.com. So
Yes.
you guys is going to educate a lot of people who appreciate
Mhm.
that. Did you sign the bus?
Yes.
Yes, we signed the bus. Thank
Mhm.
you.
Thank you
for all
guys.
you're doing.
No, listen, I'm just we're all genuinely horrified and so sorry that you have been through this, what you've been through, and what you're going through.
And it's so
Thank you.
scary for the parents who you feel like you don't have anybody because you go to the doctors and they're not listening to you.
Well, I mean, just
They want you to see
everything-
that love.
oh.
Okay, let's just do it. It's getting out. It's getting rid of it. See all those hearts?
Yes.
Thank you,
Those
everybody.
Thank you
hearts are
guys.
for you.
Thank
There
you.
you go.
Seriously.
But-
I'm gonna cry.
Well, they love you. They genuinely. This is genuine love coming
Thank
in,
you.
and they're sorry that this has happened to you.
Thank you.
You're gonna be. You're gonna.
I shouldn't be
You
crying.
could no, and also, you know, I was
I
saying.
hated to do this. It's like one of my biggest fears is to cry on camera, and now you made me do it. Thanks, guys.
You've got a great future in a different way. Okay, so I was saying to Taylor, who was on here before, and Brittany, who was on here before, we're having a summit next year, more than likely in Texas. We really want you all there. We want all the Gardasil girls there, up on stage. We'll have a panel. You'll be blogging. I think we're going for San Antonio. No, we haven't got a date yet.
Okay.
But, and
That's
so
close
we'll give
to
you lots
family.
of. Yeah. So we really want you all there because Gardasil's our mission right
Yeah,
now.
we need to put a stop to it.
Oh,
like you
still
said.
coming in anyway. You need to get on Periscope so you can look back at this and see
I
all the
will.
love that they have for you.
Thank you.
It's genuine love. Now, let's swap places with them so you can stay warm as well.
Yeah.
Cassie. Don't,
Yeah.
don't go out in the cold. And help yourself to delicious cookies.
Thank you guys so much.
What we need is a hot chocolate
Who's going
machine.
next?
Yeah.
Almond milk hot chocolate
Ditto.
for the winter. They're still giving you a load of hugs. It's still coming in.